She came back to the one family event she still attended. They humiliated her. She left in silence. But she took something they can never get back. The forgotten daughter remembered everything. On her mother's birthday, she was humiliated, but she left home with the secret they feared to reveal. Emma Carter, 29, sat in her old Honda Civic outside her family's property in Greenwich, Connecticut. The engine ran quietly as she stared at the imposing iron gates, her hands trembling on the steering wheel. Years of distance. She hasn't lived here for 7 years, not since the day her father remarried and everything changed. Emma became the forgotten daughter, the one who didn't fit into the new family picture, the one whose place at the table gradually disappeared. The one day she returns. Today is her mother's birthday. Margaret Carter would have turned 58, but Margaret died 3 years ago, and now it's her stepmother, Victoria, who organizes the annual family reunion in Margaret's name. Emma comes every year, not for them, but for the memory of her biological mother. She holds the small wrapped gift in her lap, a vintage bookmark she found at a thrift store, something her mother would have loved. It cost her $12. She knows it will look pathetic next to the designer handbags and expensive jewelry the others will bring. The house is an impeccable example of colonial revival style, with white columns gleaming in the late afternoon sun. Luxury cars line the circular driveway. Her father's Mercedes, her half-sister's BMW, Victoria's Range Rover. Emma's rusty Honda looks like it was towed there by mistake. She checks her reflection in the rearview mirror. Her second-hand blazer is clean but worn. Her hair is tied in a simple ponytail. She looks tired. She is tired. She exhales slowly, picks up the gift, and gets out of the car. As you walk toward the front door, a cold knot tightens in your stomach. Something feels different today, heavier, as if the house itself is holding its breath. She knocks twice. The door opens, and the nightmare begins. Victoria opens the door with a tight smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Emma, you came." Her tone is flat, like she's reading from a script. No hug, no warmth. Emma steps inside. The foyer smells like expensive candles and fresh lilies. Everything is immaculate. Everything always is. The cold stares. Her half-sister, Natalie, 23, stands near the grand staircase with her fiancé, Brad. Natalie glances at Emma, then whispers something to Brad. They both smirk. Emma's father, Richard Carter, 61, is in the living room, drink in hand, deep in conversation with his business partner. He doesn't look up when Emma enters, doesn't acknowledge her at all. The cruel comments. Emma moves toward the dining room where the birthday celebration is set up. The table is decorated with gold and cream, elegant, excessive, nothing like what her mother would have wanted. Natalie intercepts her. "Oh, Emma, you're here. I almost didn't recognize you without, the uniform." She laughs lightly. Emma works as a nurse at a public hospital. Natalie works in social media consulting, meaning she posts photos of brunches online. "Nice to see you too, Natalie," Emma replies quietly. Victoria sweeps in, heels clicking. "Emma, darling, I wasn't sure you'd make it. Traffic must have been terrible coming from... Where is it you live again?" Her voice drips with condescension. "Brooklyn," Emma says. "Ah, yes, Brooklyn." Victoria exchanges a look with Natalie. The subtext is clear, how quaint, how unfortunate. Searching for her place, Emma moves toward the dining table. 11 place settings, name cards in elegant calligraphy. She walks slowly, scanning for her name. Richard, Victoria, Natalie, Brad, Uncle George, Aunt Susan, Cousin Lily. She circles the table twice. Her name isn't there. The reserved seat. Finally, she spots a chair at the far end. No name card, but a small folded note tucked under the plate. Emma picks it up with trembling fingers and unfolds it. It reads, "Reserved seating for valued family members only." The air leaves her lungs. Natalie and Victoria are watching from across the room. Natalie's smirk widens. Emma looks around. Everyone saw, everyone knows, and no one says a word. The mother's weakness. Victoria steps forward, her voice syrupy. "Oh, Emma, I'm so sorry. There must have been a mix-up with the caterer. We weren't sure you'd actually come, so we didn't." "Well," she trails off with a delicate shrug. Richard finally looks over. His expression is cold, detached. "Emma, don't make a scene," that's all he says. Emma feels her chest tighten. She looks at the faces around the room, people she grew up with, people who used to love her. Now they look at her like she's an inconvenience. The memory flood. Emma's mind flashes back. Age 12. Her father missing her school play because of a business meeting. Age 16. Victoria moving in 6 months after her mother's funeral, rearranging everything. Age 19. Overhearing Victoria tell Richard she's not really part of this family anymore. Age 22. Being excluded from the family Christmas card photo. Age 25. Her father refusing to co-sign her nursing school loans. Years of small cuts. Years of being erased. The choice. Emma closes her eyes. She could cry, she could yell, she could beg for answers. But she's done all that before. This time she does something different. She says nothing. The silent exit. Emma sets the wrapped gift on the side table. Gently, deliberately. She smooths down her blazer. She picks up her purse. And then she walks toward the door. No tears. No shouting. No drama. Just silence. The room goes still. They expected a breakdown. They wanted her to crack. But Emma doesn't give them the satisfaction. Victoria calls after her, voice sharp with annoyance. "Emma, don't be ridiculous!" Emma opens the front door and steps outside. She doesn't look back. The family's reaction. Inside, Natalie laughs nervously. "God, she's so dramatic." Richard shakes his head. "She always has been." Victoria purses her lips. Well, that's settled then. But something feels off. The room is too quiet. The victory feels hollow. And as Emma's car pulls away from the estate, none of them realize what she's just taken with her. Emma moves through the grand foyer with a strange, eerie calm. Her footsteps echo on the marble floor. She doesn't rush, doesn't stumble, doesn't cry. She simply exists in the space one last time. The family's expectation. They're all watching her from the dining room doorway, waiting, anticipating. Natalie leans toward Brad and whispers, "She's going to lose it any second." Victoria adjusts her pearl necklace, a subtle smile playing on her lips. She's won. Again. Richard sips his scotch, already mentally moving on to the next topic of conversation. But Emma doesn't break. She reaches the front door, pauses. Her hand rests on the brass handle. For a moment, they think she'll turn around, apologize, beg to stay, but she doesn't. She opens the door and steps into the cool evening air. The door closes behind her with a soft click. Inside, the first crack. The silence that follows is suffocating. Natalie shifts uncomfortably. "That was weird, right?" Victoria's smile falters. "She didn't even try to argue." Richard frowns, something uneasy flickering in his eyes. For years, Emma had reacted. She'd cried, protested, tried to explain herself. Her pain had been visible, manageable, easy to dismiss. But this silence, it feels dangerous. Emma, in the garden. Outside, Emma walks slowly through the estate's garden. The place where her mother used to grow roses. Now it's all hedges and ornamental grasses. Victoria had everything replanted. Emma stops near the fountain and breathes deeply. The air is cold and clean. She feels lighter than she has in years. She's not heartbroken. She's done. The realization, Emma had spent so long waiting to be seen, to be loved, to be included, but now she understands. She was never invisible because she wasn't enough. She was invisible because she was inconvenient. And she's tired of fighting to exist in a place that doesn't want her. The moment at the gate. Emma reaches the iron gates and pauses. She looks back at the house one last time. The warm light glowing in the windows. The laughter drifting out from inside. A life she was never truly part of. She should feel sad, but instead, she feels free. The discovery. As Emma turns to leave, something catches her eye. On the stone pillar beside the gate, there's a small decorative mailbox, the kind used for inter-family notes, old-fashioned and rarely opened. Emma's mother used to leave her little messages there when she was a child. On impulse, Emma opens it. Inside is a thick manila envelope. Her name is written on the front in her mother's handwriting. Margaret's final message. Emma's hands tremble as she pulls it out. The envelope is sealed but worn, like it's been waiting there for years. She glances back at the house. No one is watching. She slips the envelope into her purse, her heart pounding. Whatever this is, her mother wanted her to find it. And Emma has a sinking feeling that everything is about to change. She leaves. Emma walks through the gates, gets into her car, and drives away. Behind her, the mansion glows in the twilight. Inside, the family is laughing again, toasting to Victoria, celebrating a life that isn't real. They have no idea what just left their property. Inside the mansion, the celebration is in full swing. Glasses clink, laughter echoes. Victoria is holding court, telling a story about a charity gala she organized. Then a loud crash from the hallway. Everyone freezes. The discovery. Richard is the first to move. He rushes toward his private study, the door slightly ajar. When he steps inside, his face goes white. The wall safe, hidden behind a framed oil painting, is open, empty. Panic sets in. What the hell? Richard's voice cracks. Victoria appears at his side. What's wrong? He doesn't answer. He's staring into the empty safe, his mind racing. The missing documents. Richard kept everything in that safe. Everything that mattered. Everything that could destroy them. Financial records showing embezzlement from his late wife's estate. Documents proving he forged Margaret's signature to transfer assets. Evidence of Victoria's involvement in diverting Emma's inheritance. Private correspondence revealing the affair that started before Margaret's death. All of it. Gone. The blame game. Victoria's eyes widen. Who could have? Natalie bursts in. Was it one of the staff? Did someone break in? Richard spins around. Where's Emma? The room goes silent. The accusation. Natalie's face twists with realization. She left weird. She was acting strange the whole time. Victoria's voice drops to a hiss. She was in the house, alone, for at least 2 minutes before we noticed. Richard's jaw clenches. That little... She couldn't have, Victoria interrupts, but her voice is uncertain. The safe is behind a locked painting. She doesn't know the combination. Richard's face darkens. Her mother knew it. The truth begins to surface. The implication hangs in the air. Margaret had known about the safe, had access to it, had suspected what was happening. What if she'd left Emma the combination before she died? What if this had been planned all along? The desperate search. They tear through the study, looking for any sign of what might have been taken, what might have been left behind. Nothing. Richard tries calling Emma. Straight to voicemail. Natalie sends a flurry of texts. No response. Victoria paces, her perfectly composed mask finally cracking. If she has those documents, Richard finishes the thought. We're finished. The terrible realization. Everything they've built, the reputation, the wealth, the control, all of it rests on secrets. Secrets they thought were buried with Margaret. Secrets they thought Emma was too weak, too broken, too gone to ever uncover. But now the forgotten daughter has vanished, and she's taken their entire world with her. The mother's ghost. Richard sinks into his leather chair, his face ashen. For the first time in years, he thinks about Margaret. Really thinks about her. The way she used to look at him in those final months. Sad, knowing, resigned. She'd known. She'd always known. And she'd protected Emma the only way she could, by making sure the truth would outlive her. The shift. The family stands in the ruins of their celebration, surrounded by shattered illusions. For the first time they're afraid, not of Emma's anger, but of her silence. Because silence means she's not coming back to beg. She's not coming back to fight. She's simply gone. And she's taken everything with her. Emma drives aimlessly for 20 minutes, her mind numb. She doesn't head home. She can't. Not yet. She pulls into a 24-hour diner off the highway, parks under a flickering streetlight, and finally allows herself to breathe, opening the envelope. Inside the diner, Emma sits in a corner booth, the manila envelope in front of her. Her mother's handwriting stares back at her. For Emma, when you're ready to know. Emma's hands shake as she breaks the seal. The contents. Inside she finds bank statements, showing regular transfers from her father's accounts to offshore holdings, amounts in the hundreds of thousands. Legal documents, a forged will, signed with her mother's name, dated just weeks before her death. It transfers Emma's inheritance to the family trust, controlled entirely by Richard. Printed emails between Richard and Victoria, dated 6 months before Margaret's death, discussing their future together, discussing Margaret's illness, discussing how to manage Emma once Margaret was gone. Photographs, Richard and Victoria together at a resort in the Bahamas. The date stamp, 3 weeks before Margaret's cancer diagnosis. A handwritten letter, from Margaret to Emma. Margaret's letter. Emma unfolds the letter with trembling fingers. My dearest Emma, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone, and it means you finally walked away from that house. I'm so proud of you. I know you've spent years trying to earn their love, trying to be enough, but sweetheart, you were always enough. They just couldn't see it because they were too busy protecting their lies. I discovered the truth 6 months before I died. Your father had been planning to leave me long before I got sick. Victoria wasn't a symptom of my illness. She was the cause of our marriage ending. I was going to divorce him, take you and start over. But then the cancer came, and everything moved too fast. Before I died, I made sure to document everything. I hid it where only you would think to look. I knew that one day you'd need the truth more than you'd need their approval. This isn't about revenge, Emma. This is about freedom. They will try to make you feel small. They will try to erase you, but you are my daughter. You are stronger than all of them combined. Use this information however you need to. But please, my love, don't let it consume you. Live. Be free. Be happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. I love you forever, Mom. Emma's breakdown. Emma reads the letter 3 times, then she puts her head in her hands and sobs. Not from sadness, from relief. All these years, she thought she was the problem. She thought she wasn't good enough, wasn't worthy, wasn't lovable. But it was never about her, it was always about them. The memories resurface. Emma's mind floods with memories, now recontextualized. Her father's coldness after the funeral wasn't grief. It was guilt. Victoria's cruelty wasn't random. It was strategic, designed to push Emma out. Natalie's mockery wasn't sibling rivalry. It was learned behavior, modeled by adults who saw Emma as a threat. Everything makes sense now. The inheritance. Emma looks at the forged will again. Her mother had left her everything. The house in Martha's Vineyard, the stock portfolio, the life insurance. All of it, stolen. Legally transferred to Richard, who then folded it into accounts controlled by him and Victoria. Emma was entitled to over $2 million. She got nothing. The choice ahead. Emma stares at the documents spread across the dinner table. She could take this to a lawyer, sue them, expose them, destroy them. She could get everything back. Or she could do what her mother asked. Be free. The realization. Emma realizes something profound. The money doesn't matter. What matters is that she finally knows the truth. She wasn't abandoned because she was unlovable. She was erased because she was inconvenient. And now, for the first time in her life, she holds all the power. The plan forms. Emma carefully gathers the documents and puts them back in the envelope. She pays for her coffee, walks back to her car, and sits in silence. Her phone is blowing up. 47 missed calls. Dozens of texts. Emma, we need to talk. Where are you? This is ridiculous. Call me back now. She doesn't read them. Instead, she starts the car and drives. Not home. Somewhere new. Somewhere they'll never think to look. Because Emma Carter is done being the victim in someone else's story. Now she's writing her own ending. Emma ends up at an all-night coffee shop in a quiet neighborhood, far from Greenwich, far from Brooklyn. She orders a latte she doesn't drink and sits by the window, watching the rain begin to fall. She pulls out the envelope again. There's more inside than she initially realized. The hidden letters. Tucked beneath the legal documents are several smaller envelopes, each dated and sealed. Emma opens the first one. It's addressed to her, dated 4 years ago, right around the time Emma stopped coming home for holidays. Margaret's confession. Letter 1. Emma, I keep writing to you even though I can't send these, even though I'll never be able to give them to you myself. I failed you. I know that now. When your father brought Victoria into our lives, I should have fought harder. I should have protected you, but I was so tired. The treatments, the pain, the knowledge that I was dying, I convinced myself that staying quiet would keep the peace. That maybe if I didn't rock the boat, you'd have a family to rely on after I was gone. I was wrong. Victoria doesn't want you in this family. She sees you as a threat, and I let her push you out because I was too weak to fight. I see how they treat you now. The way Richard looks through you like you're not there. The way Natalie mocks you. The way Victoria rearranges the seating so you're always at the edge. I see it all, and I hate myself for allowing it. But I'm running out of time, sweetheart. And I need you to know this isn't your fault. You are not the problem. You never were. When I'm gone, you'll feel pressure to stay, to keep trying, to prove yourself. Don't. Let them go. Save yourself. I love you more than I could ever say. Mum. Emma's tears. Emma reads through tears streaming down her face. Her mother had seen everything. She'd known exactly what was happening. And she'd been too sick, too trapped, too powerless to stop it. But she'd left Emma the truth. The one weapon that could set her free. Letter 2. The warning. Emma opens the second letter, dated 3 years ago, just weeks before Margaret's death. Emma, this will be my last letter. I can feel it. I've been reviewing the estate documents with the lawyer. Your father doesn't know. He thinks I'm too weak to care about paperwork anymore. But I found something. The will he had me sign last month. It's a forgery. He used a copy of my signature from an old document and had someone replicate it. My lawyer confirmed it. He's planning to cut you out of everything. I'm changing my will in secret. The real one is with my personal attorney, Thomas Grayson. He has instructions to contact you 1 year after my death, but only if you initiate it. He won't reach out unless you do. I'm giving you everything, Emma. The house in Martha's Vineyard, the stocks, the savings, all of it. But I need you to fight for it. Don't let them erase you. Call Thomas when you're ready. His number, 6117-555-0047. I believe in you, my brave girl. Mom, the lawyer. Emma stares at the phone number. Thomas Grayson. She'd never heard the name before. Her mind races. If there's a second will, a real will, then everything Richard and Victoria did was illegal. They didn't just betray her emotionally. They committed fraud. The third letter, the final goodbye. Emma's hands tremble as she opens the last letter. This one is short. Emma, by the time you read this, you'll know the truth. I'm sorry I didn't fight harder while I was alive. I'm sorry I let fear control me. I'm sorry I wasn't the mother you deserved. But I'm giving you the one thing I can. The truth. What you do with it is up to you. You can fight. You can walk away. You can forgive. You can burn it all down. Whatever you choose, know that I'm proud of you. You are the best thing I ever did in this life. Don't let them take that from you. I love you forever and always, Mom. Emma's decision. Emma folds the letters carefully and places them back in the envelope. She pulls out her phone, ignores the frantic messages from her family, and dials the number. It rings twice before a calm, professional voice answers. Grayson and Associates, this is Thomas Grayson. Emma's voice is steady, clear, and strong. Mr. Grayson, my name is Emma Carter. I believe you've been expecting my call. There's a pause. Then gently, Miss Carter. Yes, I've been waiting for you for 3 years. The truth is out. Emma closes her eyes, a strange peace settling over her. Her mother had planned this, every step, every detail. She'd given Emma the evidence, the tools, the power, but most importantly, she'd given her permission. Permission to walk away, permission to fight back, permission to be free. And Emma finally understands. Her mother's greatest act of love wasn't protecting her from the truth. It was giving her the truth so she could protect herself. Back at the mansion, chaos has fully erupted. Richard has called Emma 23 times. Every call goes to voicemail. Victoria is pacing the study, her composure shattered. She has to answer eventually. She has to. Natalie sits on the couch, biting her nails. What if she goes to the police? Richard snaps. She won't. She doesn't have the spine. But his voice wavers. He's not sure anymore. The text messages. Natalie starts texting Emma, her tone shifting from aggressive to desperate. Emma, stop being dramatic, come back. Seriously, this is childish. Emma, please, we can talk about this. I'm sorry, okay? Just call me back. Emma, where are you? No response. Victoria's breakdown. Victoria finally cracks. She throws her phone across the room. This is your fault, Richard. You said she was harmless. She is harmless, Richard roars back. She's a damn nurse living in a studio apartment. What's she going to do? She has the documents, Victoria screams. She knows about the offshore accounts. She knows about the will. She knows about us. The air in the room goes cold. The implications. If Emma takes those documents to a lawyer, they're finished. Richard could face fraud charges for forging Margaret's will. Victoria could lose everything. She has no legal claim to any of Margaret's assets. Natalie's trust fund, her lifestyle, her upcoming wedding. All of it could disappear. The family's reputation would be destroyed. They'd lose everything. Richard's desperation. Richard collapses into his chair, suddenly looking every bit of his 61 years. She wouldn't do it, he mutters. She loved her mother too much. She wouldn't drag Margaret's name through the mud. Victoria's laugh is bitter. You don't know your daughter at all, do you? Richard's face hardens. She's not my daughter. Not anymore. Natalie's realization. Natalie, who has been mostly silent, speaks up quietly. We broke her. Victoria and Richard turn to look at her. Natalie's face is pale. I mean, we literally broke her. Today. At the table. With the card. Victoria waves a dismissive hand. Oh, please, we've done worse. Exactly. Natalie's voice cracks. We've done so much worse. For years. And she always came back. She always tried. What's your point? Richard snaps. My point is, Natalie swallows hard. She didn't cry tonight, she didn't yell, she didn't beg, she just left. The weight of that sinks in. The pattern breaks. For years, Emma's pain had been visible, predictable, manageable. She would cry. They would dismiss her. She would leave. She would come back. The cycle was reliable. But tonight, the cycle broke. And none of them know what that means. The lawyer's warning. Richard's phone rings. It's his personal attorney, Martin Webb. Richard answers immediately. Martin, thank God. Richard! Martin's voice is tight. I just got a very interesting call. Richard's blood runs cold. From who? Thomas Grayson, Margaret's personal estate attorney. The room goes silent. What did he want? Richard's voice barely a whisper. He wanted to inform me that he's been retained by Emma Carter to initiate a full review of Margaret's estate, including the will filed in probate 3 years ago. Victoria gasps. Richard's face turns grey. He can't do that, the case is closed. He can if he has evidence of fraud, Richard. And he says he does. The walls close in. Richard ends the call in shock. Victoria sinks onto the sofa, her head in her hands. Natalie stares at the floor. She's really doing it, Natalie whispers. She's actually going to destroy us. Richard shakes his head violently. No, I can fix this, I can... How? Victoria's voice is sharp. How exactly are you going to fix this? She has documents, she has proof, she has a lawyer. I'll talk to her, Richard insists. I'll explain. Explain what? Victoria's laugh is hysterical. That you stole her inheritance? That you forged her mother's will? That you've been treating her like garbage for years? Richard has no answer. The mother's revenge. In the silence that follows, a terrible realization settles over them. This wasn't Emma's plan. It was Margaret's. Margaret, the quiet, gentle woman they'd all underestimated. Margaret, who they thought was too weak, too sick, too compliant to fight back. She'd planned this, all of it. She'd left Emma the evidence knowing that one day Emma would be pushed too far. And when that day came, Emma would have everything she needed to burn their world to the ground. The final attempt. Richard stands abruptly. I'm going to her apartment. I'll make her understand. She won't be there. Natalie says quietly. How do you know? Because I wouldn't be. If I were her, I'd disappear, at least for a while. Victoria looks at Richard with something close to pity. She's gone, Richard, and this time, she's not coming back. The darkness settles. The three of them sit in the wreckage of their carefully constructed lies. The celebration is over. The guests have left. The house is quiet. And somewhere out there, in the darkness, Emma Carter is holding the match that could burn it all down. Emma hasn't gone home. She's been staying at a budget hotel near the airport, paying cash, keeping her location secret. She's met with Thomas Grayson twice. He's reviewed the documents, confirmed their authenticity, begun building a case. You have everything you need, Thomas told her. We can file by the end of the week. But Emma hasn't decided what she wants yet. The phone call. On the third night, Emma's phone rings. Not Richard, not Victoria, not Natalie. A number she doesn't recognize. She almost doesn't answer, but something makes her pick up. Hello? Emma? The voice is weak, shaking. It's Helen Morrison, her mother's best friend. The one person from Margaret's life who stayed in touch with Emma after the funeral. Helen, what's wrong? I need to see you. Can you meet me, please? It's about your mother. The meeting. Emma meets Helen at a quiet park the next morning. Helen is in her late 60s, elegant but frail. She hugs Emma tightly, tears in her eyes. I've been so worried about you, Helen says. I heard what happened at the birthday party. Emma stiffens. How did you... Your cousin Lily called me. She felt terrible. Said she wanted to reach out but didn't know how. Emma softens slightly. Lily, her father's niece, had always been kind, but she was young, easily swayed by the family narrative. I'm okay, Emma says. Helen studies her. Are you? Helen's confession. Helen takes Emma's hands. I need to tell you something. Something your mother made me promise not to say unless you were ready. Emma's heart pounds. What is it? Your mother. Helen's voice breaks. She didn't just suspect your father was having an affair. She knew, for years. Emma stares. Years? Helen nods. It started when you were 16. Victoria was his secretary. Margaret found out, confronted him. He promised it was over, but it wasn't. No, it never ended. And when Margaret got sick, Helen's tears spill over. Helen's devastating truth. When Margaret got sick, Helen continues, her voice trembling. Richard saw it as an opportunity. I heard him say it myself. I was visiting Margaret one afternoon when she was resting, and Richard was on the phone in the next room. He didn't know I could hear him. Emma's hands clench. What did he say? He told Victoria, once Margaret is gone, we won't have to hide anymore, and we can do whatever we want with the estate. Helen's face crumples. Your mother heard it too. That's when everything changed. Emma feels the ground shift beneath her. Mum knew he was waiting for her to die? Helen nods. That's when she contacted Thomas Grayson. That's when she started documenting everything. She told me, if I can't protect Emma while I'm alive, I'll protect her after I'm gone. The full picture. Emma sits back on the bench, her mind reeling. Her mother hadn't just been a victim. She'd been a warrior, fighting a battle no one else could see. There's more, Helen says softly. Margaret wanted me to tell you something if you ever found the documents. What? Helen reaches into her purse and pulls out a small velvet box. Inside is a delicate silver necklace with a tiny key pendant. She gave this to me a week before she died. She said, give this to Emma when she's ready to unlock the door to her new life. She wanted you to have it when you finally walked away. Emma takes the necklace with shaking hands. The key is warm, almost alive in her palm. The mother's final message. Your mother also made me promise to tell you this, Helen says, her voice thick with emotion. She said, tell Emma that freedom isn't about revenge. It's about choosing yourself. I never did that and I regret it every day, but she still can. Emma's tears fall freely now. She was so proud of you, Emma. She talked about you constantly. How kind you were. How strong. How you became a nurse to help people, even though your father mocked you for it. He said it was a waste of my intelligence, Emma whispers. Your mother said it was proof of your character. She said, Emma chooses to heal people. Richard only knows how to hurt them. The decision point. Helen squeezes Emma's hand. So what are you going to do, sweetheart? Emma looks at the necklace, then at the manila envelope in her bag. I don't know yet. Your mother wouldn't want you to be consumed by this. She'd want you to be happy. I know. But she also wouldn't want you to be taken advantage of. She'd want you to stand up for yourself. Emma nods slowly. I need to talk to someone first. Who? My father. The arranged meeting. 2 hours later, Emma sends a text to Richard from a burner phone. Meet me at Mum's grave. Tomorrow, noon. Come alone or I go straight to the police. Richard responds immediately. I'll be there. The gravesite. The next day, Emma arrives at the cemetery early. Margaret Carter's grave is in a quiet corner, beneath a large oak tree. The headstone is simple, elegant, exactly what her mother would have wanted. Emma kneels down, places a hand on the cold marble. I'm here, Mum, she whispers. I'm finally here. She sits in silence for 20 minutes, gathering strength. Then she hears footsteps. Richard appears, dressed in an expensive suit, his face haggard. He looks like he hasn't slept in days. The confrontation begins. Emma. His voice is cautious, uncertain. She doesn't stand, doesn't turn to face him. Why did you come? She asks quietly. Because you're my daughter. Because we need to talk. Now I'm your daughter? Emma's voice is cold. 3 days ago I wasn't important enough for a seat at the table. Richard flinches. That was... Victoria thought, don't. Emma finally stands, turns to face him. Don't blame her. You were there. You saw it. You said nothing. Richard's weak defense. I didn't think you'd take it so personally. Emma laughs bitterly. You didn't think I'd take being humiliated in front of the entire family personally? You always were too sensitive. Stop. Emma's voice cuts like a blade. I didn't bring you here to listen to more excuses. Richard's jaw tightens. Then why am I here? Because I want you to tell me the truth, for once in your life. About what? About everything. The confession. Richard shifts uncomfortably. Emma, I don't know what you think you know. Emma pulls the envelope from her bag and holds it up. Richard's face drains of color. Mom left me everything, Dad. Every document, every email, every photograph, every lie. Richard's voice drops to barely a whisper. Emma, listen. No, you listen. Emma's voice is steady, powerful. You had an affair while Mom was dying. You forged her will. You stole my inheritance. You let Victoria and Natalie treat me like garbage for years, and you did it all while pretending to be the grieving widow. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Emma's voice rises. Tell me. Explain how any of this was justified. Richard's breaking point. Richard's facade finally cracks. His shoulders slump. His voice goes hollow. I don't know. Emma stares at him. I don't know, he repeats. I was scared. Your mother was sick. Everything was falling apart. Victoria made me feel alive. And then when Margaret died, I kept going. I told myself I deserved to be happy after everything I'd been through. Everything you'd been through? Emma's voice is incredulous. What about what Mom went through? What about what I went through? Richard looks away. I know I failed you. You didn't just fail me. You erased me. The painful truth. You want to know what the worst part is? Emma's voice breaks. It's not the money. It's not even the lies. It's that you made me believe I was the problem. For years I thought I wasn't good enough, wasn't worthy, wasn't lovable. Richard's eyes glisten. Emma, I went to therapy. I questioned everything about myself. I broke down crying in my car before family events because I was so terrified of disappointing you. And the whole time you were the problem. Richard's tears fall. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught? The moment of truth. Richard has no answer. Emma wipes her own tears away, her voice steadying. Mom gave me everything I need to destroy you, to take back everything you stole, to put you in prison. Richard's face goes white. Emma, please. But she also taught me something else. Emma looks at her mother's grave. She taught me that freedom isn't about revenge. It's about choosing myself. What does that mean? It means I'm not going to destroy you, Dad, even though you deserve it. Richard's relief is visible. But, Emma continues, her voice hardening, you're going to make this right. The ultimatum. Emma hands Richard a piece of paper. What is this? He asks. A settlement agreement. I had Thomas Grayson draw it up. Richard reads quickly, his face growing more shocked with each line. You want all of this? I want what Mom left me, what was legally mine. You're going to transfer the Martha's Vineyard house into my name. You're going to return the stocks Mom left me. You're going to pay me the equivalent of the inheritance you stole, adjusted for interest. Emma, that's over $3 million. That's what you owe me. The terms. You have two choices, Emma says calmly. You can sign this agreement, make the transfers quietly, and we never speak again. Or I can take everything I have to the district attorney's office and let the justice system handle it. Richard's hands shake. If I sign this, Victoria will leave me. The family will fall apart. Then let it fall apart. That's not my problem anymore. Emma, please, there has to be another way. There isn't. Emma's voice is final. You made your choices. Now live with them. The signature. Richard stares at the document for a long moment. Then, with a trembling hand, he signs. Emma takes the paper, folds it carefully, and places it in her bag. You have 30 days to complete the transfers. After that, if even $1 is missing, I go to the police. Richard nods, defeated. The final words. Emma turns to leave, then pauses. For what it's worth, she says without looking back, I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. Emma, goodbye, Dad. She walks away from her mother's grave, from her father, from the past. And this time she doesn't look back. Over the next 4 weeks, Emma watches as one by one the transfers come through. The house in Martha's Vineyard, deed transferred to Emma Carter. The stock portfolio, $847,000 worth, now in her name. The cash settlement, $2.1 million, deposited in 3 installments. Thomas Grayson oversees every transaction, making sure everything is legal, documented, and irreversible. The family's implosion. Emma doesn't hear from Richard directly, but she hears about the fallout through Helen. Victoria did leave him, taking Natalie with her. They're living in Victoria's sister's condo in Boston, their lifestyle dramatically reduced. Richard had to sell the Greenwich mansion to cover the settlement. He's now living in a modest condo in Stamford. The family business is struggling. Turns out Richard had been embezzling from company accounts to fund his lifestyle. When the settlement forced a financial audit, the board discovered everything and forced him out. The karma. Emma feels no joy in their downfall, just a quiet sense of justice. They didn't lose everything because of her. They lost everything because of their own choices. She just stopped protecting them from the consequences. The visit to Martha's Vineyard. Emma drives to Martha's Vineyard for the first time in 10 years. The house is exactly as she remembers it. A charming coastal cottage with blue shutters, surrounded by wild roses and beach grass. Her mother's sanctuary. As Emma walks through the rooms, memories flood back. Summer mornings making pancakes with her mom. Afternoons on the beach collecting shells. Evenings on the porch reading books side by side. This was where her mother was happiest. And now, it belongs to Emma. The discovery. In the master bedroom, Emma finds something unexpected. A cedar chest at the foot of the bed, locked with a small key. Emma's hand goes to the necklace Helen gave her, the key pendant her mother left. With trembling fingers, she tries it. The lock clicks open. Inside the chest. Inside, Emma finds photo albums from her childhood, carefully preserved her mother's journals, filled with memories and dreams. Letters Margaret had written to Emma over the years, but never sent a savings bond in Emma's name. Purchased the day she was born, now worth $50,000, and a final envelope, marked, "For Emma's new beginning." The final letter. Emma opens it with tears already streaming down her face. My darling Emma, if you're reading this, it means you did it. You stood up for yourself. You took back what was yours. You chose freedom. I am so incredibly proud of you. This house was always meant to be yours. I bought it before I married your father, with money from my own family. It was my safe place, my peace, and now I want it to be yours. I know the years ahead won't be easy. You'll have moments where you doubt yourself, where you wonder if you did the right thing, where you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. Don't. You deserve every bit of happiness you can find. You deserve a life free from people who make you feel small. You deserve to take up space in the world without apologizing. I wish I had learned that lesson earlier. I wish I had been braver. But I can still teach you through my absence what I failed to teach you in life. That loving yourself is not selfish. That boundaries are not cruel. That walking away from toxicity is not giving up. It's growing up. I've left you more than just money and property, sweetheart. I've left you permission. Permission to be happy. Permission to move on. Permission to live the life you were always meant to live. This is your new beginning. Make it beautiful. I love you more than words can ever say, Mom. The breaking open. Emma collapses onto the floor, sobbing. Not from grief, from release. For years, she carried the weight of her family's rejection. Now, she's finally letting it go. The ritual. Emma spends the evening going through the journals and letters. She reads about her mother's dreams. Dreams of traveling, of painting, of writing a book. Dreams that were suffocated by a loveless marriage and an illness that came too soon. At sunset, Emma builds a small fire in the fireplace. She takes the documents about her father's betrayal, the ones she no longer needs, and one by one feeds them to the flames. She's not destroying evidence. The legal transfers are complete. These are just copies. But watching them burn feels symbolic. She's burning the past, making room for the future. The phone call. That night, Emma's phone rings. It's Natalie. Emma almost doesn't answer, but curiosity wins. Hello? Emma. Natalie's voice is small, broken. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Emma is silent. I was awful to you, for years, and I didn't even understand why until everything fell apart. Natalie's voice cracks. I was jealous of how strong you were, how independent, how you didn't need their approval, and yet you spent years trying to destroy me for it. Emma says quietly. I know, and I hate myself for it. Natalie takes a shaky breath. Mom, Victoria, she left us. Dad lost everything, and I realized we had a real family member right there, and we treated her like she was nothing. The grace. Emma closes her eyes, weighing her words carefully. Natalie, I appreciate the apology. I do. But I can't be the person who helps you rebuild. I need to focus on rebuilding myself. I understand. Maybe someday, Emma adds softly. When we've both healed, we can try again. But not now. Natalie's voice is thick with tears. Thank you for not destroying us completely. You could have. I know. You're stronger than all of us. No, Emma says. I just finally learned to choose myself. The goodbye. They say goodbye. Not with promises of reconciliation, but with a tentative peace. Emma hangs up and looks out at the ocean. The moon is rising, casting silver light across the water. She thinks about her mother, about the years of silence and suffering, and she makes a promise. She will live the life her mother couldn't. She will be brave when her mother was afraid. She will choose joy when her mother chose obligation. She will honor her mother's memory, not by mourning forever, but by living fully. The toast. Emma pours herself a glass of wine, walks onto the porch and raises her glass to the stars. This is for you, Mom, for teaching me that freedom is the greatest inheritance of all. The ocean whispers back, and for the first time in years, Emma feels truly at peace. Emma has fully moved into the Martha's Vineyard house. She's taken a leave of absence from the hospital to focus on healing, though she plans to return to nursing eventually, maybe open a small clinic on the island. The house has been transformed. She's repainted the walls in soft, warm colors, planted a garden, bought comfortable furniture that's hers, not handed down or borrowed. For the first time in her life, she has a home that feels like home. The new routine. Emma's days have a gentle rhythm now. Morning coffee on the porch, watching the sunrise. Afternoons reading in the garden or walking the beach. Evenings cooking simple meals and journaling. It's quiet. It's simple. It's everything. The therapy. Emma continues therapy, now focusing on healing rather than surviving. Her therapist, Dr. Lin, helps her process the years of trauma. "You're not the forgotten daughter anymore," Dr. Lin tells her. "You're the woman who chose herself." Emma likes that identity better. The friendships. Helen visits often, bringing flowers and stories about Margaret. They laugh together, cry together, heal together. Emma also connects with locals on the island. The woman who runs the bookstore, the couple who own the cafe, the fisherman who brings fresh catch every Thursday. People who know nothing about her past, who see her as simply Emma. Not the rejected daughter, not the victim, just Emma. It's refreshing. The creative outlet. Emma starts painting. Something her mother always encouraged, but she never had time for. She's not good at first. Her hands are clumsy, her color choices questionable, but she improves. And more importantly, she enjoys it. She paints the ocean, the garden. Abstract emotions in blues and golds. She hangs them on her walls, claiming space with her own creativity. The unexpected letter. One afternoon, Emma receives a letter. It's from Lillian, her cousin, the one who told Helen about the birthday party. "Dear Emma, I don't know if you remember me. We were close when we were kids, before everything got complicated. I heard what happened. Uncle Richard told the family his version, but I knew there was more to it. I just wanted you to know I always thought you were amazing. When you became a nurse, when you moved to Brooklyn and built your own life, when you kept showing up even though they treated you terribly. You were the brave one. The rest of us just went along. I'm in graduate school now, studying social work. I want to help families heal from trauma. And honestly, you inspired me. If you ever want to reconnect, I'd love to grab coffee, no pressure. Love, Lily." Emma smiles. Maybe not all family connections are toxic, she writes back, suggesting a visit. The financial independence. With the settlement money, Emma has financial security for the first time in her life. She's not wealthy, but she's comfortable. She pays off her student loans, all $87,000 of them. She sets up a small trust for herself, ensuring she'll never be dependent on anyone again. She donates $50,000 to a cancer research foundation in her mother's name. The rest, she invests wisely, with Thomas Grayson's guidance. The career shift. Emma realizes she doesn't want to return to hospital nursing. The pace, the bureaucracy, the exhaustion. Instead, she decides to become a hospice nurse. She wants to help people die with dignity, the way her mother deserved. She wants to be there for families in their darkest moments, offering the compassion she wished someone had offered them. It feels like purpose, like calling. The dating life. Emma isn't looking for romance. She's too busy rebuilding herself, but she does meet someone, casually, unexpectedly. James, a marine biologist who works at the island's conservation center. They meet at the bookstore, both reaching for the same book. They laugh, chat, exchange numbers. It's easy, light, no pressure. They have coffee a few times, walk the beach, talk about books and work and dreams. Emma isn't ready for anything serious, and James respects that. But it's nice to remember that connection doesn't have to be painful. That kindness isn't conditional, that she's worthy of someone's time and attention. The forgiveness journey. Emma spends a lot of time thinking about forgiveness. She's forgiven her father, not for his sake, but for her own. So she's not carrying that anger anymore. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. She doesn't respond when Richard sends a Christmas card. She doesn't answer when Victoria tries to call, twice. She's forgiven them for what they did, but she's not inviting them back into her life. There's a difference. The gratitude practice. Every evening, Emma writes down 3 things she's grateful for. At first, it's hard. Her mind defaults to bitterness, but slowly, it gets easier. I'm grateful for this house. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the courage to walk away. The practice shifts something in her. She starts noticing beauty more, joy more, peace more. The mother's legacy. Emma creates a small memorial garden in the backyard. She plants her mother's favorite flowers, lavender, roses, daisies. She places a bench there with a small plaque. For Margaret Carter, who taught me that freedom is the greatest gift of all. She sits there often, talking to her mother, telling her about her day, her dreams, Her healing. She feels her mother's presence in the wind, the sun, the flowers, the realization. One evening, sitting in her memorial garden, Emma has a profound realization. Her mother didn't just leave her money and property. She left her a blueprint for living. A blueprint that said, your worth is not determined by others' treatment of you. Walking away from toxicity is strength, not weakness. Building a life on your own terms is the ultimate success. Peace is more valuable than approval, Emma finally understands. She's not living despite what happened. She's living because of what she chose to do about it. The new identity. Emma Carter is no longer the forgotten daughter. She's the woman who inherited freedom. And she's just getting started. It's a crisp October evening. Emma stands on her porch wrapped in a soft cardigan, holding a cup of tea. The ocean stretches endlessly before her, painted in shades of gold and purple by the setting sun. The transformation. She barely recognizes herself from a year ago. That woman was afraid, desperate for approval, willing to accept crumbs. This woman is strong, self-assured, complete on her own. The change didn't happen overnight. It was built day by day, choice by choice, boundary by boundary. The unexpected visitor. A car pulls into the driveway. Emma turns, surprised. It's Lily, her cousin, with an enormous smile and a bottle of wine. Surprise! Lily calls out. I hope you don't mind unannounced visits. Emma laughs. For you? Never. They've become close over the past year. Real family. Chosen family. The celebration. They sit on the porch, sharing wine and stories. You know what I realized, Lily says. You're the only person in our family who actually escaped. Escaped what? The cycle, the toxicity, the need for approval. You just left and built something beautiful. Emma considers this. It wasn't easy. The best things never are. The letter. Lily pulls an envelope from her bag. This came to my apartment. It's addressed to you, but sent to my place. I think your dad didn't know your address. Emma takes it, her stomach tightening. It's from Richard. Do you want me to stay while you read it? Lily asks. Please. Richard's letter. Emma opens it with steady hands. Emma, I don't expect you to respond to this. I don't even know if you'll read it. I just needed you to know. You were right. About everything. Victoria and I separated permanently 6 months ago. Natalie moved to California. We barely speak. I lost the business, the house, the reputation I spent my life building. And you know what the strangest part is? I'm glad. Not because I wanted to lose everything, but because losing everything was the only way I could finally see what I had lost years ago. You. I was a terrible father. I let pride and greed and cowardice turn me into someone unrecognizable. I let Victoria manipulate me because it was easier than being alone. I hurt you because hurting you was more convenient than standing up for you. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know. Margaret was right about you. She always said you were the strongest person she knew. I used to think she was being biased. Now I know she was just being honest. You survived us. You thrived despite us. You built a life that's real and meaningful and beautiful, and I'm proud of you. I know I have no right to say that, but I am. I hope you're happy, Emma. I hope you've found peace. I hope you know that what happened wasn't your fault. It was never your fault. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. But I understand if you don't. I love you. I always have, even when I was too broken to show it. Dad. Emma's reaction. Emma reads the letter twice, feels the weight of it, the sincerity. Then she folds it carefully and puts it in her pocket. Are you going to respond? Lily asks gently. Maybe. Someday. When I'm ready. Emma looks out at the ocean. But not because he needs it. Only if I need it. Lily nods. That's very wise. My therapist would be proud, Emma says with a small smile. The toast. As the sun dips below the horizon, Emma stands and raises her wine glass. What are we toasting to? Lily asks, standing beside her. Emma thinks for a moment, then smiles. To the women who save themselves, to the mothers who protect their daughters even from beyond the grave, to the courage it takes to walk away, and to the peace that comes from finally choosing yourself. Lily clinks her glass against Emma's. That's beautiful. It's true. They drink, watching the last light fade from the sky. The final reflection. Later that night, after Lily has left, Emma sits alone in her mother's memorial garden. She looks up at the stars and whispers, "Thank you, Mom, for everything." The wind rustles through the lavender, carrying the scent of peace. Emma closes her eyes and breathes deeply. She thinks about the woman she was a year ago. sitting outside her father's mansion, trembling with anxiety, desperate to be seen. And she thinks about the woman she is now, standing in her own home, rooted in her own worth, complete in her own right. The truth she carries. Emma finally understands what her mother was trying to tell her. The greatest revenge isn't destruction. It's not exposure or ruin or punishment. The greatest revenge is healing, is building a beautiful life with the broken pieces they left you, is proving that their rejection couldn't break you. It only made you stronger. The liberation. Emma isn't the forgotten daughter anymore. She's not defined by what was taken from her. She's defined by what she chose to build. And as she sits in the garden her mother never got to see, in the house her mother saved for her, living the life her mother dreamed for her, Emma realizes she didn't just inherit money or property. She inherited freedom, and freedom, she now knows, is the only inheritance that truly matters. Emma raises her empty wine glass one more time, alone under the stars, and whispers, "I didn't leave the family, Mum. They never let me in, but that's okay, because I finally found my way home." The ocean whispers back its approval, and for the first time in 29 years, Emma Carter is exactly where she belongs.